What's up, guys? Welcome back to the garage. We got old Eugene in here, and today he's having an issue with the Evap system. I keep getting error messages P0457 and 0456, along with a gas cap message. I've already replaced the gas cap, so we're going to dig in deeper and try to figure out what's going on. Let's do it. All right, guys, we're going to get this started. I picked up some new tools, so we're going to have a look at those first, and then we'll run down the plan for troubleshooting this issue. We're going to use a smoke machine. It's something I've never done before, so you guys are along for the ride. All right, so I picked up this smoke machine off of Amazon. It wasn't a very expensive machine, but I figured for us shade tree mechanics, as long as it made smoke and pushed it into the system, it would work. All the reviews looked really good, so I'm going to try it out and see. I looked online, and you're looking at a couple of $300 for diagnostics to take this to a shop and have a smoke test done on it. And this set was only like 60 bucks. And then you had to buy the smoke, and that was another like 15. So not too big of an investment. And if it works, great. I will have it for future projects. If it doesn't, it's Amazon. Send it back. So it's pretty straightforward, it looks like. You're going to connect... you connect your smoke output here, you got your power. I'm sure there's somewhere to connect the canister for the smoke juice. And all this is basically is a fog machine with an air compressor. So it makes fog just like your party fog machines, and then it pushes that into the Evap system using a couple of PSI of air. And what that does is it pressurizes the system with smoke, and if you have a leak, smoke will come out where the leak is. At least that's the idea. So that's what we're going to try. Since I've already replaced the gas cap, we're going to start at the gas cap and use this big cone to plug that. And that's where we're going to start pushing the smoke. And we'll have to check under the hood. We'll have to check the fuel tank. We'll have to check the Evap, the carbon filter canister. There's a bunch of places that this could leak. My money is on under the hood because I just did recently replace the water pump on the Jeep. And I also replaced the battery. So that's a lot of taking off the whole intake tubing and all of that stuff and moving a lot of stuff around. The battery, there's some type of a valve for the Evap system over there by the battery that's got some hoses to it. I'm banking on one of those got nicked or got crushed or something like that. And I've visually looked at them and I can't really see any problems. So that's why I got the smoke machine. So we're going to hook it up. We're going to see what happens. And hopefully it's something simple. All right, let's go. Didn't really intend this to be a review video for this piece of equipment, but I can go through it a little bit just to let you guys know. There's a few things that I found so far that could possibly be a problem. The first one being that this is powered by 12 volts, which means it's supposed to be connected to your car battery, but they only give you about a 5-foot cord. Now that would be okay if you're connecting to one of the hoses under the hood, one of the vacuum hoses, and pushing smoke that way. But I suspect one of those hoses is the problem, so I want to push smoke through the gas cap here, or the gas filler, through that, so I can't reach the battery. Luckily for me, I have a 12-volt power source here that I use on the bench. I'm just going to move it over there and hook it up to that, and hopefully that's enough amperage to run this thing. The other thing that I see is there's a note here on the top that says to add 30 milliliters of smoke fluid the first time and then 10 to 20 after that. But the bottle they give you for filling doesn't really have any markings on it. Looks like it may have something on this side, but it's very faint. And there's no way to see like the container inside it to see if it's full or not. So I guess I just have to wing that, but this thing should work. Should go right in there and seal up like that. And then they give us a pretty decent length of hose here that already has a connector. If you want to go into like one of your vacuum hoses, you can just stuff that in there and go. That connects to this hose here. Stuff it in the filler. And away we go. So I'm going to get power over here, get it all hooked up, get it filled up. It takes a couple of minutes to warm up. We'll see what kind of smoke output it does, and then we'll start smoking the system. I'm inside the garage. This does say that the smoke that it makes is not the best to be breathing, but it's raining and it's windy outside, and I figured with a smoke test you're going to want as minimal wind as possible because you don't want the wind blowing away the smoke before you can see it. So we're inside here. If it starts getting smoky, I'll open a door, but hopefully this works pretty quick and we don't smoke ourselves out. Let's go. Got the power supply over here and hooked up. The machine kicked on, so I'm assuming it's got enough juice to do what it needs to do. We're going to give it a few minutes. Once smoke starts coming out of this end, it looks like it already is a little bit. Yeah, there we go. That was quick, like 30 seconds. I'm sure it'll be thicker than that once it warms up because the little heat light's not on yet. But that's good. So I'm going to go ahead and get it connected up and start stuffing this thing full of smoke and see what happens. All right, so I'm going to have to rethink that one because this is just not sealing inside here very well. It's just smoking out there, and I don't see anything coming out anywhere else, which leads me to believe there's not enough pressure to get it going anywhere. So I'm going to disconnect this, reevaluate, try to get this to seal better. I'll show you what's going on once I get that thing out and let the smoke clear. All right, so the problem we're running into is this cone is very firm, and you can see the grooves in it. This opening has this lip on the bottom and the top with gaps in the sides. That's where the cap screws on. And these gaps are not sealing, so that's why the smoke is coming back this way. So I have some old gas caps. I did read online where somebody took an old gas cap and drilled it out and put the hose straight through that. So I may have to try doing that instead so I can seal it on there. This is the original gas cap. And then I have another one somewhere that I bought. So I did say that I changed the gas cap, and I have. And before you say anything about that, the first one was an Amazon special or an eBay special, but it claimed to be Mopar parts, and it came in a Mopar box. It didn't look like the original, but it claimed to be a Mopar part number. And that didn't fix the problem, so I just went this morning and got one from the actual dealership. So it is a Mopar gas cap. So I'm pretty confident it's okay. So that's why I'm not testing it right now. So we may have to use one of the older ones I have to create a seal for this so we can smoke test this. So I'm going to work on that now. I'll let you know what I find and what I work out. All right, so here's what I come up with. I took the original gas cap. The seal may or may not be bad. Changing it did not fix the problem, but you never know. You may have more than one problem, but it should seal better than that cone was. So what I did was I used this big drill bit here, chucked it in the vise, and drilled a hole straight through from where the little tether already was, straight through the size of this fuel hose I had laying around. And then I lubed up the fuel hose, stuffed it through there, and then I glued it in with some epoxy goop. So that's going to seal it up to the inside. And then once I put this back on the Jeep, I'll connect this hose to it, just stuff it into the fuel line, and it should work. I'm going to give this a few minutes to seal up, to dry, because I don't want to glue the cap into my Jeep on accident, and then we'll try it out. All right, while we're waiting on that to dry up, I'm going to go ahead and switch around here and try it from the other end under the hood. So I pulled the cover off, that's that down there. And I'm pretty sure from the videos and instructions and things I saw online that this hose here is the one that's the vacuum for the evap system for the fuel system. And that connects to the intake right here, just behind the throttle body. It goes over underneath and connects to a couple of pieces here. And this is the valve or the whatever that I was talking about that's up by the battery. So all of these hoses here are susceptible to damage when you change the battery. I also had all of this out and everything down, the alternator, everything down there out, taking out the water pump. So I could have hit something with that. So we're going to try this out. I'm going to disconnect this hose here and connect this guy to it. And I'm going to leave the gas cap off for now, because if smoke starts coming out the gas cap, I know I've got the right vacuum hose. If it doesn't, then I may need to maybe try this one here or one of the other ones, but I'm pretty sure it's that one. There's one here too. But I'm pretty sure it's this little guy. So I'm going to connect to it. If smoke starts coming out back there, we know we're on the right one. Then I'll go seal that up. And we'll try it out. I'm going to get it set up and we'll check it out. So I just pulled this hose off and it slid right off with no resistance. And you can see the end of it here. It's cracked. I don't know if it's cracked far enough down. It's on the back side. If it's cracked far enough down to not seal there. But if we don't get any smoke anywhere else, this might be the culprit. I may have bumped this, like putting the alternator back on or something. So I probably have a piece of fuel line that's small enough that I can use to put on that. If not, I'll just go get a piece and just replace this dried up piece with a piece of fuel line and be done. But I'm going to continue with the smoke machine just to make sure there's no other problems. But that might be the smoking gun right there. That was pretty brittle and cracked open. So we'll see. All right, we're pushing the pressure now. The pump is bogging down a little bit, so I can tell that it's actually sealed up and pushing. There's no smoke up here just yet. No smoke out of the gas cap just yet. Do a walk around and see if there's anything coming out from underneath, because there is a canister under there and the fuel tank and everything. So far so good. It'd probably take a few seconds or a minute or so to really push everything through, but nothing yet. I'm going to let it run till I start seeing smoke somewhere, and then we'll come back and check it out. All right. All right, we've been running for quite a while now, at least a minute. There's still no smoke coming out anywhere around the vehicle. I did have to tighten that up a little bit because it's so busted up that it's leaking. But I just noticed that there's some fluid coming out from under the cap on this guy, and I think it's that. So you can see I put a napkin under there because the smoke fluid is building up and dripping out. So I'm going to investigate this thing real quick and see what's going on with it. It looks like this cap is not sealed good. I don't know if that's on the outside of the system, if it's supposed to be sealed down there and this is the vent. Maybe I need to do something with this plug to close or open the valve. I'm not really sure. Like I said, we're just learning as we go. It seems like there's some smoke in here, but I don't see any actual smoke billowing out of anywhere so far. Oh, the pump just made a noise. Oh, it looks like it got too hot. I'm going to shut that off for now. But yeah, I can hear air coming out of here, but no smoke, which is weird. Nothing back here, nothing underneath, nothing out of the gas filler. Yep, nothing under there. I wonder if I have to have the key on or something to activate that valve. More research. I'll get back to you. Alright, so I got this guy off and got the lid off of it. It does look like some type of a valve, but there's not a significant amount of oil or anything inside it, so I don't know why it was coming out the top. Maybe it was something else. But that does open up two more ports here. It looks like this one is the one that goes to the hose we were on, and then this 90 one goes to the rest of the system. So I tried to use this guy that come with the smoke machine to put in there, but it doesn't really fit. I'm going to try to find something else that'll seal down in that hole. In case that valve needs to be bypassed, I can connect there and push smoke, because it seems like nothing's going through. Because the oil and everything's pushing back out on that side. I still need to replace that coupler, but I'm going to try to get connected over here and see what happens next. All right, had to think outside the box a little bit, so I took this piece that came with the smoke machine, and it was solid rubber with a big lip around it. So I used the Dremel tool and just a grinder barrel thing there, put it in the vise and notched it down to make the make it a little longer. So now it'll go right in there and it'll seal down with space to spare. So now we can connect the smoke machine to that and push some more smoke and see what happens. So I've bypassed that valve because I think it's closed with no power and it needs to open. So I don't want to start messing with running wires everywhere trying to make it open, so I'll just bypass it. Because there wasn't any smoke between here and there, so we know that hose is good. So we bypass that one, go to this one. All right, I'm going to hook it all up and we'll see what happens. All right, we're pushing smoke again. I might have to put a little more juice in there. I didn't put a whole lot in there. I did make sure it was smoking, but it wasn't very thick. So I do have it connected up, pushing through the system. Nothing coming out anywhere else so far. Oh, we got it coming out of the gas cap. Perfect. That means we're on the right system. So I'm going to seal this up using the cap. That should all go away. There should be no more smoke. I'll double check it in a little bit once it gets time to settle again. So we're on the right system. That's exactly what I wanted to see. So now that system will start pressurizing. And if we do have a leak, we'll start seeing smoke. Let's check underneath here. I haven't looked under here yet. Ugh. Nothing yet. I'll give it a few minutes and then I'll get my creeper out and roll under there and have a real look. Oh, we do got some smoke coming out over here. Look at that. Uh-oh. Coming out of the fender. You see that, guys? Something behind the fuel filter is loose. So I'm going to pull this tail light, try to get a look in there and see what's going on. I did read that there's like a charcoal filter vent thing right here that sometimes gets loose or goes bad. So maybe that's it. So I'm going to pull this off. We'll have a look. But yeah, you can see the smoke coming out of the fender right there. That's perfect. It worked. All right, we got this tail light out. You can see down in there. So you see the filler tube and then that filter I was talking about. I'm wondering though if that filter is a vent, if it's supposed to come out of there. But I think if it comes out the end, like this big wide end down here, right there, it's supposed to, but if it comes in like back there somewhere, maybe not. So I'm gonna go turn the pump back on and we'll see where it's coming out at. All right, we got the pump going again. Light on here, see where it's going, what's happening. See a little bit of smoke. Nothing obvious yet. I'm not really sure. It's hard to tell where it's coming from. It's just smoke. All right, it looks like it's coming out of the top of the filter thing here, this end, the little gap right there. That's what it looks like it's coming out of. So I think that's supposed to do that. I'm going to turn the machine back off. I'm going to go ahead and fix this one, put everything back together, clear the codes and see if they come back, because they come back pretty instantly. At least the gas cap one does, as soon as you turn the vehicle on, within seconds. So I'm going to put all this back together, seal it all up, find some hose to seal this guy up, and we'll see what happens. I realized I didn't really show you guys taking this apart just because I had to figure it out on my own. So I want to show you how to put it back together so that you know how it works and it's easier to take apart. So this just slides in there, snaps in pretty good, and then you've got this little first clip that goes in from this side, and you just push it all the way until it clips in. Eventually, got to get it in there right. There we go. And then there's a blue clip that goes from the other side that locks it in. So that's how you put that together. So you take the blue clip, or the red clip for the other side. It's a colored clip you take off first, and then the other one. And that's how it comes apart. All right, got the Jeep running, and unfortunately we still have the gas cap light. I cleared the codes earlier for the actual check engine light when I got the new gas cap, but this one doesn't show in the scanner. It only shows on the dash. I don't know if it takes multiple cycles to clear or if it tests every time you start it, but I've done it twice and it's still showing. So now I think it's time we're going to try my my gas cap device here. I think it's dry enough to use. I did replace this with a piece of fuel line. I may put a clamp on it because it's not super tight, but I did get that replaced. The piece that come off of it was pretty dry and nasty right here. You can see it was cracked and busted. Not as bad as I thought, but it's pretty cracked up on the end there too, so it's worth changing. I'm gonna try to find a little clamp to put on this just to make sure, because it is a little big. And then we'll connect the gas cap thing that I've designed and see what happens. I've got to figure out something with that filter though, because if the smoke just comes out of it, then it just comes out of it. What are we going to do? Like that filter thing in there. I assume it's supposed to come out there. It's like a vent for the fuel tank. I haven't been under the Jeep yet either, so I'm going to hook everything back up back here, and then we'll check the fuel tank and the that Evap canister, the filter thing down there. All right. Well, I guess this gas cap was bad. As you can tell, it's just absolutely pouring smoke out of there, and I'll show you how it's working. It's working great. It's coming out of the hose the way it's supposed to, and if I cap that, it doesn't come out anywhere else. It's just the seal is not sealing. So it's not really working. I tried tightening the crap out of it to get it to seal up, and it's just not. I'm wondering if there's something wrong with that seal place, like the seal surface there, because I cleaned it with some soap because it was really dirty down in there. This thing doesn't let it really get rinsed out. So, but it is just boiling out of there, and not really coming out anywhere else from what I can tell. I haven't seen anything up front yet. Yeah. No smoke in there. Nothing coming out this side or underneath. I don't have my creeper, but I'm gonna crawl. Nothing under there. Nothing on top. It should be like coming out of the cracks right here, coming out of the top of the fuel tank. This is the fuel tank here. All right. Guess I'm gonna re-inspect this mount surface here or try to find another seal or something, because this is just not working. It's boiling. All right, try again. All right, found me a little hose clamp for that guy. Started looking at this cap again and realized that the glue failed. I don't know if I just didn't wait long enough or if it reacted with the oil and the smoke or what, but I'm going to try a different glue, maybe a hot glue or something. I can't find my hot glue gun, but I do have hot glue gun sticks. So that and my heat gun. Try to not burn myself and get that sealed up. We'll try again, hopefully. All right, I think that might actually work. I started out using the stick here and the heat gun like I was welding and trying to like draw it around. That didn't really work because it's got some spring to it and it kept trying to spring out of the hole. So what I did is I cut it into little pieces and laid it all around the hole and then just heated it up until it all melted into a puddle. And now I'm going to let it harden. So that whole thing is now full of hot glue. That should hold, hopefully. We'll see. All right, there was a small flaw in my design here, so I didn't realize that this inner white part turns separate of the black handle, and that allows it to turn on the hose, you see, and it just destroyed the seal again. So I'm going to pull the rubber seal off back here and try to seal down inside there and see if that gets it from leaking, because I think it's coming out around the cap and not the seal. Because I actually found the third cap I have. This is the eBay special that may or may not be Mopar. I pulled the seal off of it because it's not nearly as hard and crusty as the original one was. And it still didn't seal, so I think it's leaking around that and then going out the cap through there. So try to seal this up again, see what happens. All right, new plan. I separated the back of the cap from the middle part that was spinning, and I re-glued and sealed this up really, really good. I'll have to be careful putting this in and make sure that the hose twists along with it, but it should go in without breaking the seal this time. And this seal will go back on the outside here, which will seal to the Jeep. And we should be good. It's just hot right now, so I gotta let it cool and solidify, and then we'll be good, hopefully. All right, try number 3 seems to have been successful. It's plugged in, it's sealed up, the machine's running, no smoke is coming out of the gas cap. So I'm gonna let it run for a little while, keep an eye on things. If I start seeing smoke billowing out of somewhere, we know we have a problem. It's getting very frustrating considering we haven't seen anything. These are the ones that are really frustrating because they're hard to find. But I'm going to keep trying. I don't want to have to take it to a dealership. All right, like I said, I'm going to let it run. I'll grab you guys again if I start seeing activity. All right? All right, still no evidence aside from a little bit coming out of that filter vent thing that we saw up there in the tail light. But I wanted to show you guys what I'm looking at. So this here box is the charcoal canister, from what I understand. Supposed to be like a filter type thing. I don't see any smoke on any of those connections. Then you got your fuel tank stuff going on up here. So that's your fuel filler, some vacuum lines, no smoke there. And then you've got, going back this way, a connection, no smoke there. The pump's making weird noises. You got those hoses running right there, up to the filler. I don't see anything. There's a little bit, like I said, coming out of that filter thing, but I think that's normal. I may go ahead and change that just in case. It's only like $25. But the pump ran until it overheated, and absolutely nothing. So I'm starting to lose hope. I'm wondering if I've already fixed the problem, like with that clamp and that piece of hose there, and it just takes a few cycles of the engine off and on to clear that code. I don't know. But nothing is smoking anywhere. I think what I'm going to do is pull this one back off and see if smoke is coming out that far. Maybe try turning on the key to see if that like opens up that valve or something. I don't know, but I've got to let the pump cool back down and probably put some more fluid in it. So still troubleshooting, still nothing. Well, guys, I guess I'm going to have to do some more research on this one. I can't get smoke to come out of anywhere. That looks like an obvious problem. I drove the Jeep about 10 miles just around the neighborhood and around the streets. Try to see if maybe driving it would cycle the light off, and it didn't. So I'm going to go back to the drawing board and do some more research online and see what happens, or what I need to do next. Because, I mean, it comes right on as soon as you start it up. It, about 6 seconds in, you get the gas cap light. Let me get the key in here. Yep, there it goes. same thing. Now the check engine light hasn't come back, but it took a while last time. So of course I cleared it when it first come on, you know, just to see if it was a fluke, but that hasn't come back on, but the gas cap keeps coming back on. So I'm gonna have to keep doing my research. And I guess I'll see you guys. I don't know if I'm gonna do a part 2 or put this all together. We'll see. All right, guys, I've been doing some more research. Found a really nice thread online that kind of outlined all the different pieces of this system and how they work. So using that, I pulled this valve off because it's just a valve. And if you apply 12 volts to this, it'll open. It's default closed, open with power. And if this doesn't open, then you would never get the vacuum from that hose over there, and you would never get vacuum into the system in order to pull the proper vacuum for the system to read it to know that it's working. But this works. I held the put wires on there, it clicked, I was able to blow through it, it works. So the next thing that I did was I went and pulled the little pump. This is, I'll show you guys where it's at under there in just a second, hang on. So we were under here earlier looking around, and this is that Evap canister, and that thing was plugged in right here. You just undo the wire plug, you undo the hose that was connected to it. There's a little tab on the bottom that I'll show you on the piece. It's a little tab down here. You pop that tab up and you just rotate it about 45 degrees and it'll pop off. So that's what I did. And I brought it up here to the workbench. This is that little tab I was talking about. So you kind of pull that away to free up and then it'll turn. So I've got my 12 volt power leads here. I connected this up to the plug. I tried both polarities and this doesn't do anything. It's like rattles around in there. I don't know if that's right, but it doesn't seem like it's working. So I'm going to order one of these. I don't think they're that expensive. We'll get it ordered. I'm going to put this one back in for now because I don't know if you're supposed to drive it without one. But hopefully this fixed it, because if this never pulls a vacuum for this end of the system, then again, you're not going to get the vacuum reading that the system's looking for. I'm not 100% sure how that works, because this is called a vacuum pump, but then you've got this connected to intake manifold as a vacuum hose. I guess it needs both. I don't know. I'm not a professional, just working through it. But I'm going to order that part. I'm going to call the dealership. Well, they closed it too. See if the dealership's open tomorrow. Maybe I can get it earlier or faster. But we're going to see, and I'll let you guys know. Hopefully that fixes it. All right, the local parts house, O'Reilly, actually had one in stock. It's not Mopar branded, but it is the same thing. It looks the same. This one comes with a seal. It looks like it's going to go right here. Mine doesn't have that. I don't know why. I'm going to look, make sure that it's not stuck under there. But I'm fixing to throw this thing in, and we'll see what happens. I'm hoping something happens. They rattle the same, so it's not like that one's broken. So we'll see. All right, I'm gonna put it in. We'll see what happens. Well, guys, as you can see, the gas cap light is still on. I replaced that and replaced the seal. This is the old seal here. It didn't look bad, but I replaced it anyway. Didn't work. So, more research. Well, guys, I don't know what I did. I left it as you saw the last part of this video. Hopped in here to go out for the evening and it's gone. The gas cap light is gone. So I'm gonna call it a win. I'm gonna leave it where it is. We can mark this one done. Well, guys, as you saw in the last part of the video there, for some reason the gas cap light went off. Now, I did do a few things off camera. I did take some really fine grit sandpaper and kind of clean up the edge of where the gas cap mounts, and then I put a little bit of like a dilated grease, I didn't have any Vaseline, so I used dilated grease, put a little bit of that on it. But I don't think, because I cycled the key 3 or 4 times after I did that, and the gas cap light kept coming on. So I don't know what the fix was. I'm just glad it's fixed. Now I can go get my inspection and do all of that and not have to worry about it. So we're good. If you guys like this content, please be sure to subscribe to the channel. It really means a lot to me. And if you have any questions or comments, you can leave them down below. I'll be sure to answer. But for now, we're going to be off to the next project. We can mark this one done. You guys have a good one and rock on.